Alright, so welcome at part 3. We're going to continue here, as I said before, with adding some wheels to this train, because a train without wheels is not really a train, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a new geometry node, put it here, call it wheels, and in here I'm going to use an object merge, and the object merge, what am I going to merge in? I'm going to merge in the axle. Oh, I forgot something which I should have done, and that is after the line put a null here and call this out. It's not that it's really necessary, but it's clean and I like clean. So then if ever someone has to work with your files, it's better to work with clean files, right? And why I already mentioned this earlier, but it's easier because now if I go to select what I want to get in, out, because it's all capitals, it comes out on top of here. So I'm going to say accept this one for the back one, and I want another one, and the other one is going to be the front axles. Here we go. And this one, I surely want this to transform into this object, because otherwise they're not going to be in the right position. So if I look at the point numbers now, I've got 0, 1, 2, and 3. So I've got 4 points, 2 lines that I've got in here. And that's exactly what I want, because what I want to do now is I want to put some wheels on these points, and I can do this with a copy to points, of course. So I'm going to put down a copy to points, which I'm going to be needing. But before I do this, the copy to points, you might already know this, and if you don't, then you will know this now. It will look at the attributes of the points that we're going to put in here, which are going to go into the second input, and see if there are any orient attributes or any normal and up vector or rotation values or those kind of things on the points, to make sure that the geometry that you're going to copy to those points are oriented in the right way, right direction. So to do this, I'm going to need a normal and an up vector, and I have a very nice node for this, which is called orient along normal, or along curve, sorry. Orient along curve. And this one, if I put this here, you see that it will automatically make the y-axis the up, let's call it up, and it will make a normal attribute at the tangent of the curve. The tangent of the curve, if you paid attention in your math class when you were back in school, then you would know that it is pointing in this direction. So what I'm going to do to show this to you is I'm going to click on this, click on the up, control click, and then I can see here I can make a color. So the up, I'm going to keep it, no, I'm going to make it purple for now. Okay, and if I push this button, then we can see the normals. I can do it like this. We have the up and the normals as visualizers here, visual aids. So the purple one is the up and the yellow one is the normal. So these are the two that I need, and I'm going to put them into here, and now I can put some wheels on here. For a wheel, I'm going to use, let me see, a tube. And the tube has to be in the z-axis to orient correctly, and well, just put it in there for now and see what happens. Hey, voila. Okay, I'm gonna turn this one off because I don't need this now anymore. We see that it's oriented correctly, so I don't need the point numbers anymore either. So what I want to do now is change the tube a little bit so it's not as it's a little bit better formed. So I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. So let's say the height's 0.12, and I'm gonna make it a little bit smaller in this direction as well. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna make the radius x, because this is radius from the inside and the outside, and you can see the difference. If I put this bigger, it's only one side that goes out, and here the other side. I'm gonna keep both these at 1, and then use this radius scale to make it bigger or smaller. I do want to have a little bit more of points on my curve as well, on my tubes as well, so I'm going to make this 20, so with a little bit more round, a little bit more detail in there, and What's next? Oh yeah, I want to have a parameter over here on my train, add a parameters interface, make another float, and I'm going to call this wheel radius. Here, wheel radius, and here for the label it can be with a majuscule, okay, or with a capital. So like this. Oh, I forgot to make some ranges because I don't want wheels that are 10 meters in radius. That's a little bit exaggerated. Edit parameters, go back. So let's say default is, well, what can I say, 1 centimeter. It's really ridiculously small, but okay. And bigger than a meter it will never get. And then as a default, let's say 0.3, something like this. Accept, and voila. Now I'm gonna use this wheel radius copy parameter and put it in this tube, and radius scale I'm gonna say base relative reference, and voila. So now if I change this, yep, here it changed. Okay, so this is a little bit of a strange wheel because it doesn't have any end caps. I'm gonna put some end caps in here, and there's one more thing that I want to change, and that's this. The height here is actually the width of my wheels, and the width of my wheels, I want to be able to change that because now it's much bigger than the rails. And I could of course go into the rails and see what I use for a value here to make this and then copy it over there, but I don't want this because I want this to be, oh sorry, I want this to be here as well as a parameter. So I'm going to say edit parameters interface once more, and I'm going to add another float to my train settings. Can go to parameters. I'm going to say this is my not my wheel radius but my wheel width. Here we go, wheel width. And the range for this, let's say it can be 1 centimeter and it can be maximally 1 meter. That's already ridiculous, but okay. And by default 0.1. Apply, accept, wheel radius copy. And now in my wheels I'm going to go to my tube and I'm going to say here wheel to the height base relative reference, but I'm going to do the same thing for my rails. So here I'm going to say base relative reference, and now if in my train I'm going to change this, hey, voila. So now not only does the train track get wider or smaller, but my wheels also get wider and smaller. Yeah. Alright, so let's put this back to 0.1 because that's a nice default, I think. Next problem is my wheels are at the center of the track. And this is of course a little bit strange. So we have to put this whole thing up. We could of course say, well, let's put this up. But if we do this by the wheel radius, then we're going to have a problem when we want to rotate this later. So I do not want to do this because I actually want to just up the front axle and the back axle to make sure that these are going to be up, and then the wheels come up automatically as well. So I'm going to go to my wheel radius, I say copy parameter, here I say paste relative reference, and I'm going to do the same for the back axle. In the back axle line, do y parameter, paste relative reference, and voila. So now there's only the cabin that's still crashing through the floor, so I'm going to do the same with the cabin. This is now this is the size, and here is the. So I actually had to restart this because something went wrong with my camera, but I hope I will be able to edit this seamlessly later on. But okay, the last thing I remember that I did was put up the box, so it will automatically get lifted off the floor as well, and I think that's done now. The only thing that I'm not really happy with now is, oh sorry, I can look this from the side here, is that the wheels are actually going slightly through the rails, if you see what I mean. And that is because in the rails, if I'm gonna have a look at this, my grid is actually, or if I'm gonna look at this, it is actually 2.5 centimeters above floor level. That is because my grid here is not I mean the center of the thing is 0, 0, 0, so the y center is 0 and it's 5 centimeters high, so it automatically ends up 2.5 centimeters above sea level, if you want to see, if you understand what I mean. So what I can do here is I'm gonna put a line, axis align, or what's axis align, this one, match size it's called nowadays, sorry. And what I can do here is put this to max, oh sorry, min, the other way around, sorry. So now it automatically makes sure that when I look here, it's the maximum y position is at 0, as you can see here. So now my wheels will always be exactly on top of the rails, and that's exactly what I want. Well, the next step is for me to make sure that the wheels are actually going to rotate. But to be able to see this, I'm going to change my my wheels a little bit, and I'm going to do this like this. First, I'm going to remove the end caps because I don't want them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a polyfill, and let's do this on this one. Instead of doing this mumbo jumbo here with the this is not really what I'm looking for. I want to have the triangle fan, and in this way I can select some. I'm gonna have a look from it from the side, from the front, sorry, and I'm gonna select some by pushing the S and then the 4. Oh, space 3. Pushing the S and then the 4, I'm going to select some primitives now, and I'm going to select these primitives, and I'm going to select these primitives, and I'm going to say delete. I don't want to delete them, but I just want to get these numbers, so I'm going to say Control C, sorry, delete this one, put a color in here, color, and put this in between. And for these primitives, I'm going to put this to primitive, and I'm going to say make me red. So these primitives will be red. The primitives on the other side will also be red because I selected it. So if I copy this now here, space G, there we go. Now we can see that my wheels are there. Okay, sorry about that, this one. My wheels are there, but they're not turning. And that is what we're going to do in the next part, which will be part 4, if I remember correctly. So see you in part 4.